First up, it's the leading vote-getter and the host for this year's All-Star Game, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark. This is Clark's first time being selected as a team captain, and she joins A'ja Wilson as the only players to be named captains, their first 2 seasons in the league under this new format. Caitlin is on pace for her second season, averaging 18 points, 8 assists. No other player has done that even once. Picture this. Caitlin Clark gets nearly 1.3 million All-Star votes, more than the entire top 30 players combined got in 2023. She breaks WNBA history and becomes team captain. In her first interview appearance since her groin injury a few weeks back, she triumphantly returns to ESPN for the 2025 WNBA All-Star Draft. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. During the actual program, Clark makes a move so bold it literally changes everything. Are you ready to hear all about how Clark made history again? If you're excited about Clark's return, then comment CC record breaker. Let's go. And then out west, it's the Minnesota Lynx Nyssa Collier making her debut in captainship. But don't get it twisted. She knows this game well. Fee has been named an All-Star 5 out of the last 6 games. She's the 2024 Defensive Player of the Year, and the favorite to win MVP according to ESPN Bet Sportsbook. But how about are we checking on her GM skills? We're about to find out what those look like. It's just about that time. The captains are here. Fee, Caitlin, how are we feeling heading into your first draft as captains here? Here's something that will blow your mind about what Clark just accomplished with these All-Star votes. While she was recovering from her groin injury, fans were out there voting like their lives depended on it. Clark pulled in 1,293,526 votes. That's not just a record. That's a complete destruction of everything the WNBA has ever seen before. Let's talk about how crazy these numbers really are. In 2023, the top 30 All-Star vote-getters combined for 1,171,000 votes total. Clark beat that number by herself. She got more votes than 30 of the best players in the league combined from just 2 years ago. A'ja Wilson led the voting in 2023 with 95,860 votes, which sounds impressive until you realize Clark got 13 times more votes than that. There are fans out there online who say it's Fever versus everybody, and when they see this voting, it's only going to fuel that notion. The WNBA has been around since 1997, and nobody has ever seen fan engagement like this. Clark took a league that was struggling for mainstream attention and turned it into appointment television. Fans who had never watched women's basketball before were suddenly voting for All-Star games. Parents were getting their kids involved in the voting process. Social media was exploding with Clark content during the voting period. WNBA All-Star captains have been announced. Team Kier vs. Team Clark. The top 2 vote-getters when it comes to fan voting. Caitlin Clark over 1.2 million fan votes. Nyssa Collier not too far behind with 1 million fan votes. Aaliyah Boston was close, less than 2,000 votes away from a Team Clark vs. Team Boston All-Star Game experience. That would have been quite the entertainment. But instead we get Team Clark vs. Team Nyssa Collier. Her return from injury becomes this triumphant moment where she discovers she's not just back on the court. She's the most popular player in WNBA history. The needle mover. The voting results prove that Clark's impact goes way beyond basketball stats. She brought an entire generation of new fans to the league. The numbers show something the WNBA has never experienced before in terms of pure popularity and mainstream appeal. That's Caitlin Clark. That's the Caitlin Clark phenomenon right there. That is a perfect example. The year before she showed up all the way to what basically 12 times the amount, 13 times the amount of votes because she almost got 1.3 million. Clark's vote total proves she's not just a superstar who had a good year. She's the face of the entire league. Her injury absence made fans realize how much they missed watching her play. The voting became their way of showing support and demanding her return to the spotlight. This record-breaking support sets up what happens next in the draft perfectly. Clark walks into that ESPN studio knowing she has over 1 million people who voted specifically for her. She's got the power and the popularity to make bold moves. But here's where things get really interesting about how her fellow players actually view her. Feel good. We're ready. I'm excited to get it underway. I'm ready.
I'm excited.
This is going to be a whole lot of fun here. I'm curious, Fee, can you just take me inside? I think Captain GM Fee has a nice ring to it. What's your strategy here as you're looking towards this draft? It does have a nice ring to it. I like this position a lot. I feel like I got to try to get some of my Hoodie Owl girls on here. I got to try to get some of my Husky girls on here. So I've got an agenda coming into today. Alright, we got a little bit of an agenda. What Clark does next is so bold and unprecedented that it literally makes WNBA history for the first time ever. The draft begins with Clark and Nafisa Collier as captains, sitting across from each other virtually at the ESPN show. Everyone expects a normal draft where captains pick players. Clark has a secret plan nobody sees coming. What about you, Caitlin? What's your strategy here? I'm going on vibes. Ooh, we're picking whatever comes to mind. We're just having fun. My team's going to be fun. That's all that matters. You get to be in front of the home crowd in Indianapolis. So that's right. Being in front of the home crowd is an important thing and could play maybe to your advantage here. We've done enough talking. It sounds like it is time that we get this draft underway. I've always wanted to say this. With the first pick in the 2025 WNBA All-Star Draft, Team Clark selects. I know this be super surprising to everybody watching, but I'm going with my teammate Aaliyah Boston. Baby, we're putting Aaliyah Boston on the board here. Aaliyah Boston going here to Team Clark. The draft starts with Clark picking Aaliyah Boston first. This shows loyalty to her Fever teammates and proves she values the chemistry they built during her rookie season. Boston was there for Clark during the tough moments, and Clark rewards that partnership with the first pick. The choice sends a message about how Clark values relationships. Aaliyah has been on opposite teams with Nafisa Collier in each of her first 3 All-Star appearances, and that tradition keeping it up this year as she's joining her teammate Caitlin Clark. She's been an All-Star selection in each of her first 3 seasons in the league. She's the 9th player in league history to be an All-Star in each of their first 3 seasons. So, you're getting some real talent that you know very well here, Caitlin, on your team. That Clark even drafts A'ja Wilson despite their on-court rivalry throughout the season. Wilson dominated Clark in several matchups and won the MVP award that many thought Clark deserved. Caitlin, we're going back to you here with the 4th pick in this draft. Alright, 4th pick. I'm going to take A'ja Wilson. I was wondering when we would see A'ja of the A'ja team going off of the board here. A'ja Wilson headed to Team Clark here, 3-time All-Star captain. She did select Youtheon on her team in 2019 and has played with you 3 out of the 4 All-Star games. So, it's going to be a little different again going head-to-head here with A'ja Wilson. The 3rd straight season of her averaging 20 or more points and her 5th season overall, of course a certified baller. But Clark can separate competition from respect. She knows Wilson's talent will help her team win regardless of their individual battles. I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. Effie is going to take her coach. Sandy Brondello, let's get it. It's going to be amazing. Sorry WNBA if that's not in the rule. Sorry ESPN if that's not in the rules, but we just made it a rule. So Sandy Brondello, come on over. Let's get to it. You can coach Sabrina. Instead of just picking players, Clark decides to trade away her coach, Cheryl Reeve. Something like this has never happened before in All-Star history. The WNBA and ESPN had to give special permission for this move to happen. Clark announces she wants to swap coaches with Collier, and suddenly the entire draft takes on a completely different energy. We have breaking news here. I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal. I agree with Cheryl. I agree with the trade. I love Cheryl. She's my coach here. And you know what? That's just going to be worse for Team Clark, because now we got more chemistry on our side. We got more synergy. We know what we expect from each other. So, that was a bad move on your part, Kaylin, and we're taking you down. The same Cheryl Reeve, who rejected Clark from Team USA last year, gets shipped off to Coach Collier's team instead. Reeve was the coach who left Clark off the Olympic roster despite her record-breaking rookie season. Reeve had also made comments criticizing all the attention Clark received throughout the year. Clark clearly remembered those slights and decided to do something about it. I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch dirt just be moved around because Caitlin Clark's not on the team. If she's there, it's appointment TV. You people, whoever did this, honestly, hey, take your brain, put it in a museum, and study it for how dumb you are. Clark brings in Sandy Brondello from New York to coach.